Okay, so this is perfect for the day after Valentine's Day. Before you hear I do, you may hear I don't. If you don't pay off your personal debt, that's what more than a third of Americans are saying in a new survey. Better go to our love expert on this one. Gary B has more experience with marriage than all of us. Well, with one marriage. So when it comes to love, should personal debt be a deal breaker?
I want to put a disclaimer that I am certainly no love expert. Okay. You know what? I'll tell you what. If you don't disclose your debt, I think that gets to the whole heart of not being truthful and honest in a marriage. But I will speak out. I'm kind of for debt, if you will. I think debt gets a bad rap, particularly when couples join each other. Look, most couples would not be able to afford a house with debt. The other big debt expense they incur is usually on a car. But why would you want to use your own money on an asset that depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot? Debt is generally okay, I think, because you're using other people's money and generally for good stuff, unless you lie about it.
Well, but this can be, Tracy, it's very, very stressful. Money can often be the deal breaker in a relationship. And if before you get together, you both have tons of debt, student loans, credit card debt. What does that do?
The pizza on the credit card box is cute for the first night. After that, it is not. And to live life like that, knowing that your paycheck is gone before it even comes in because you're not on the same page about your spending habits, that could be a total deal breaker for couples. And I think Gary B is our relationship expert because he's at least got the longest one on the panel.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So that qualifies you, Gary.
Thank you.
Okay, Jessica, is this money over marriage?
Yeah, I mean, this certainly, I think, is a larger macroeconomic issue that people are talking about, particularly this time of year, because it really is an important sort of topic facing young people, my generation, Generation X, millennials, and going below us in terms of whether or not they are actually being able to get married and can afford it.
Right.
Like you've said, there's student loans, there's all these debts, and with the sort of huge income inequality and the levels of poverty that we've seen that have been increasing in this country since the 70s and only continuing to getting worse, it's an ongoing conversation that couples are having, because if you're a single mother, it probably doesn't make sense for you, if you're making under $25,000 a year, even from a tax purpose, to marry someone else who makes $25,000 a year, even though that gives families stabilities and can help them get out of poverty.
Well, Jonas, should Cupid's arrow go for the bottom line or go for the heart?
The family that borrows together stays together. Look, you know, Gary's on it. Look, there's a lot of trouble with debt. Whole economies can collapse from it. We had problems here with the housing bubble. But in general, America was built on debt and continues to excel on it. If this was such a bad thing, Japan would be the best economy in the world. Now, as far as individuals, divorce rate fell after the Great Recession because people had more debt than assets because their houses fell underwater. And nobody wants to leave a spouse and split an underwater mortgage and have a debt pile. People with assets are more likely to get divorced. So you could make the case it's good for a marriage.
I just got to squeeze John in here. Quick comment, John.
Hey, 11 years ago, I wrote a book about debt and staying out of it. One of my first appearances was to come on Bulls and Bears. That is where I met my future wife, here on Bulls and Bears. We just had our 9th anniversary on Wednesday. I am very debt phobic. Unfortunately, my wife is as well.
Okay,
It works for us.
a shout out to Meredith, too. Okay, thanks, guys.